anything that I've done, Smallville or Buffy or whatever, I like to film you and then put that on my Facebook feed. But I like, so anybody that's in costume for anything I've done, please come by the table. I'd love to film you guys. But I like to have a really good round of applause for them at the end. So that's why. Thank you.
These chairs have wheels.
Good.
So how are you?
I'm really good, man. Yeah. I'm doing intermittent fasting, so I haven't eaten anything since 10 o'clock last night, and I won't till 2 o'clock. Yeah, it's the weirdest thing.
You look at me, you can tell I'm not doing that. You feel good?
Yeah, I like to eat, but I'm like.
But if you faint, we know
why. Too much. No, I don't. There's no way I'm gonna faint.
Okay.
I actually feel good.
Good, right?
It's so weird. Yeah.
Well,
Plus, huge amount of coffee.
Right.
Are you gonna ask all questions? Are they gonna ask questions?
We'll play it by ear a little bit if you're okay with that. I'll ask you a couple questions to start. I've already warned them, so I'm going to tell you. I just recently started watching Buffy the Vampire Slayer for the first time.
Yeah.
And we got to you. My girlfriend was desperate that when she found out I was hosting this dance, she's like, well, you got to watch it till you get to the damn. So you know what he looks like and all that.
I got friends who say that when they're on a date and the woman says, do you like Buffy the Vampire Slayer? You have to say yes.
Yeah.
If you say no, the date is over.
No, I made a lot of enemies today. But I'm watching it now. It's a lot of fun. You're a lot of fun on the show.
Yeah. What I'd like to say, just really quickly, you guys can ask me anything that you want. If you want to try to embarrass me, bring it. I am apparently shameless, and it doesn't work, and people have been trying, and it still hasn't been accomplished.
There's a guy over here who might ask you about your 83 taxes, so...
Okay, that's fine. And if 83, I don't know if I filed because I...
No, of course, see, that's the...
I didn't make enough money.
No.
I was poor for a long time. Seriously, till I met Joss Whedon, I was dirt poor because I was a stage actor. 1 year...
I've been a stage actor.
My ex... You know, right? My ex-wife and I, we made $7,000 in the whole year. We ate oatmeal, breakfast, lunch, and dinner until we got sick of it, then we switched over to cream of wheat. Do you guys have that? Okay. Ate that until we were sick of that, and then switched back to oatmeal. Wow. Yeah. I was really happy when I met Josh.
I bet. And so speaking of that, once you started the show, obviously you have a very fun character, and you're a villain in it, villainous character. When did you know that you sort of would not need to eat oatmeal? Swapped with cream of wheat cereal.
Well, just the pay for one episode was more money than I could have imagined. I mean, it turned out that was actually very low for Hollywood standards.
Right.
Compared to where I was.
Between two people, yeah.
The pay was for one episode was $4,000.
Wow.
So I was like, I don't need to work the rest of the year.
Okay, Harvey, your turn.
But no, I had come down to Los Angeles because I was up in Seattle. I was in Seattle actually, and I had my own theater company.
Yeah.
And we were critical darlings. But I put all of the money that I made into this theater company, and I was sleeping in the back of it on a little mattress in the back of the theater. I was eating beans all day, and had a son with my then wife.
Yeah.
And I remember watching him getting wiped off on the birthing table, and this voice came into my head that said, "Go to Los Angeles, pour yourself out. This little kid did not decide to be poor. You're happy, you're poor, you're happy, you made that decision, but this little human being did not make that decision." So I came down to Los Angeles to try to get, money for health care.
Yeah.
Because we don't have that down there.
No.
And diapers and stuff like that. So
it was very nice of the tech booth guy to do that for you.
Yeah.
James, go to
I don't know where it came from, but I went down to Los Angeles.
Good. And obviously a very wise choice.
Yeah, but the thing was, when I got the job, I was aware that it was working pretty well, but I was supposed to die after 5.
Right.
And I was like, well, I'll just save the money that I make. 5 times 4,000. This is a pretty good amount of money, so okay. And but it was going really well. Yeah. And I remember Joss backing me up against the wall at one point. And he goes, "I don't care how popular you are, kid, you're dead." And I was like, I guess he's getting pressure not to kill me off. I'll kill that. And I was like, dude, it's your football, whatever you decide, man, you're the boss, okay? But inside I was like, oh wow. Again, so they kept me around for the first, that whole season, which was like a total bonus.
Yeah.
And at that point my ego was a little bit big, and I was like, try to do the show without me. And then I watched season 3, and Faith comes out, and I'm like, oh wow. I'm never going to be on the show. And then apparently what happened was that for season 4, they spun up Angel into his own series, and they took Cordelia away from Buffy, and Cordelia was the character to tell Buffy, you're stupid, we're all going to die. And they needed a new character to do that, and Joss didn't know what to do, and apparently Sarah said, why don't you try Spike? And he's like, wow, actually that might work. So that's why I was hired. I was the new Cordelia.
Oh.
And they...
You'd say your ego had gotten pretty...
Well, no, a year of unemployment takes care of that.
Yeah.
So yeah, and I got on the show, and it was a problem to get me into the room to tell Buffy she was stupid. Because I was burning. So
right. You can only tell her at night.
Yeah, you can only do the smoking blanket thing so many times, and it wasn't working. And I thought they were going to kill me off.
Right.
But they didn't.
They didn't. They kept finding a way to keep you alive, and here you are. And the series ran for 7 years. And now it's 21 years old. From the beginning of it. Yeah. You joined in the 2nd season. I know that because I just started watching.
We should test this.
Test me up to episode 8 of the 2nd season, which I watched last night.
You are in for a roller coaster.
Oh,
because Joss does not mind hurting you.
Yeah.
So it's not going to be all fun and games.
Yeah, I can't even think of his name now. The Iron Throne guy.
George R. R. Martin.
Yeah, before him. Yeah, George R. R. Martin. I want to say Tolkien, but I was like, that's wrong. It's the wrong entirely. Yeah, so he'll kill off your favorites. Is that what you're saying? He'll make me cry a bit.
Well, that's the lead, yes, but that's not the peak.
Oh, that's on the show.
Yeah, it gets worse.
Okay. That's fair. That's fair. And also you were in Smallville. You played another villain there.
Yeah.
They like to get you. Is it because you have good cheekbones?
No.
I've said the good villains have very nice cheekbones.
I came down. I had on my little reel, which is the little film that you make of previous stuff. It's like a calling card for agents. Anyway, on that reel was just a couple of roles that I did for Northern Exposure. Oh. Well, that I did. Yeah, and I got those roles because I was in Seattle and they filmed in Seattle. So I got the role of this priest. Like, he wasn't a priest, and his dad was like a super famous priest, and he followed in his dad's footsteps, but he was no good at being a priest.
Right.
He was super shy. He just, I don't like people. They tell me all their problems, I just start sweating. I don't. And so it's a funny character, but he was not a confident guy, right? And that's all that was on my reel. So I got down to Los Angeles and I started doing guest spots of people with low confidence, which would be like, I had just come off of a Macbeth where I was like, but I was like, anything for a buck, man, whatever. Sure. But I was known for doing those characters and I was like, I'll be Urkel. I don't, whatever, but then I met Joss and he put me in one of these roles, and so that's what I got known for. And in Hollywood, whatever you get known for, you keep doing.
Yeah.
So now I'm the villain I'm the guy.
And it's worked well for you.
Yeah.
And you're a good villain. I like a good villain.
Yeah. By the way, Smallville was awesome because they told me what was going to happen far into advance because I was plotting what was going to happen. It was important that I knew what the plan was. But Tom, who's super smart and super cool, by the way, he told the producers, don't tell me what my character doesn't know. I want to go through this as Clark knows. I don't want to have to act like I don't know something.
Right.
And that's a very smart thing for him to do. And so he thought we were going to be friends. He thought I was like the new father figure. And I remember we were up, like staring at the moon. We were in the barn, and I'm like, Clark, you have to forgive yourself. You have to forgive other people when they hurt you. And I'm like trying to teach him about life. And in my mind, I'm like, I'm gonna kill you. And he's like buying it. So good. It's so funny, man.
Wow, that's fun. Did you want us to take questions from the audience? You want to do that? We have these awesome throwing microphones.
What?
Yeah, we can throw. In fact, would you like to throw the first microphone?
I'm not any good with sports, man.
I'll throw the first one. Maybe and when you find your courage. Okay, I saw your hand first, so you go. And then what we'll do is, look at that.
Okay, well, you went for the first one. Yeah, I can do that. Okay.
Hi.
Hi.
I just wanted to say before my question, the first time I started watching Buffy, I was really like into Angel, but as soon as you appeared on Buffy, I was like, forget Angel.
I'm going to mention that to David next time.
So my question is, what did you like the best about your character Spike? Like, what did you like playing? Like,
Wow.
what scene?
So much. I mean, wow. What can I say about that? In the beginning, I had to be comfortable with the idea that it would be, this is kind of serious actually, there's no jokes here, but it's kind of, that it would be fun to kill someone. Because the center of Spike is that he's having a blast killing people. And to make that character work, you just have to be like, baby, let's you know? I like try to think of myself as a decent human being who wouldn't have fun doing that, right? So, really luckily, I had just come off of doing this Macbeth in Seattle. And I did a lot of research about the warrior mentality. And I found out that one of the things that soldiers don't like to talk about, the thing that they only talk to other soldiers about, is that when a person, apparently, I haven't done this myself, but when you kill someone, there is a very animal, very honest reaction, which is, I'm alive and you're not. I have survived this moment and you have not. I am alive. And there's an exhilaration after you kill someone. And then soldiers then have to live with the guilt of this reaction. And a lot of them don't realize that everyone feels, like most people feel this way. And it's not because they're twisted, it's just because they're human. And that, knowing that allowed me to play a character who was a warrior who would take a sword and split someone in half just on Monday, you know? And so I had already gotten comfortable with that. And so I was able to step into this role, because Macbeth does it, I'm saying it on stage, we're screwed.
We're in a conference center, does it count?
Okay, there we go. Okay. So,
not a real theater.
Macbeth does it because it's necessary. He doesn't do it for fun. He's comfortable with it, but it's his job, that's all. But Spike is actually doing it for fun and for free, you know?
That's what I like.
Yeah, and on stage there's a saying, they say, people don't pay to watch you work, buddy. They pay to watch you play very well. So it's important, the whole thing is to have fun. So I was really glad that I could put those two things together and could just release into the sadistic glee that was the original Spike.
Plus you could go for lunch with him after.
Yeah. Well,
probably not.
It'd be lunch for it. Yeah, is that?
Thank you, yeah.
Yeah,
it's
welcome.
perfect, thank you.
All right, Dragon Ball Z had one, and then we'll start moving it backwards.
Here we go.
Hi.
Hey, Goku.
Me and my friends have been arguing for 10 years, and I'd like to get you to settle this.
You're right.
Who would win in a fight, a caveman or an astronaut?
I'm so relieved. I thought you wanted to give me some guff about the Dragon Ball movie, so now I'm like,
I forgot
it's horrible, and I know that. So, caveman. So, I remember we did an improvisation when we were filming that episode, because Joss wanted us arguing in the background, and I remember saying to David, I wish this had gotten in. I'd say, look, it's got to be, it's cavemen would win, Angel, you see, because astronauts, they're very tiny people. They've got to fit inside the capsule, you know. So you don't get a 6'5" astronaut. They're like 4 foot tall. Just, you know, they don't pick the tall ones. So they're tiny people. So they get just monstered, you know. So, but I mean, in all honesty, it depends. You know, like if you're fighting in a modern world with tools, the astronauts would win. If you're fighting in the caveman, you know, without tools, just in the Serengeti and everything, the caveman would just strip them, yeah.
Excellent, thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome.
All right, let's move it back. Toss it back. There you go. There's a rainbow shirt. And then there's a lady behind you. You know, we should throw another one out in though, but I'm going to tell you. Yeah, here you go for it. You find something. Right in,
That's a little too hard.
Yeah.
I admit that. I'm sorry. I apologize.
Oh, actually, there's a right here. The person who has the blue one. Before you go, you can go. It's her birthday today.
Happy birthday.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, so Stephanie, the right of the blue cube. It's her birthday. She was wondering, would you wish her happy? You just did. So. Happy birthday, Stephanie. Happy birthday, Stephanie, everybody. Thank you. First you, and then we'll go over to you.
All right. A bit of a spoiler alert, so Morgan, close your ears, please.
Okay.
Who is better in fake TV bed, Drusilla or Buffy?
I never got in bed with Drew. Am I not remembering this? We were standing up and we were kissing all the time.
It doesn't have to be bed. It can be the wall.
Okay. 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 Do you want the answer that you want, or the answer that's actually true?
I want the answer that's true.
Because the answer that's true is not the one. Okay. The truth is, I have no idea. The truth is there's nothing less sexy than a sex scene. The reason for that, like anything that's glamorous, the word glamour literally means illusion. And the more glamorous an image, the further it is divorced from reality, and therefore the harder it is to create an image like that. So when you're doing a scene like that, it's constantly like, oh, Buffy, I love it. Cut, James, cut. Your head was slightly to the right there. Try it again. All right. Oh, I love you. Cut. Nope, James, you have one little hair. Plus, like, you know, like, you got like 30 to 50 guys and women staring at you that you almost, like, you know some of their names, but not all of them. And I like romance, I really do, but I like that it be like private. Because like when you're paid to do that and you're getting money for that, what is your job description? No, I mean like I look in the mirror like I'm paid to do romantic acts on another human being I'm being paid for. What are you today? Be honest. So, like for me, it's about who do I trust to get me through this day that I'm pretty uncomfortable with, actually. And on that front, I would pick John Barrowman. John and I, we both come from stage, and in the first scene I kissed, like we kissed, and then we did a 12-hour fight call. And in stage, you don't get a stuntman. So if you come from stage, you're kind of proud. You're like, oh, I don't want the stuntman to come in for this stuff. So John and I conspired to have the stuntman come in for as little as possible. I think they made it in for 2 shots in 12 hours. And so I put my physical safety in his hand over and over and over, and he never let me down. And so there's a level of trust that you get on that level. And plus, he's just an awesome human being. So I'll kiss John. Like, the first time I kissed Sarah, she was actually playing Faith. Kind of weird, but the first time I kissed her, we needed 14 takes. Right? because I was like the nerd, passionate actor on the set. Like I was like, let's really go for it today, guys. You know? If you passionately kiss someone really on film, it's like. So Sarah she was trying to help us. Like, James, we know you're a good actor. We know you're passionate. Just stop. Once in your life, just be a robot. Just come in, touch the lips, and come out, and we'll go home. And I was trying, and it took 14 takes. And then I finally just gave up and just, and you see it on the show. It looks great. Oh yeah, I had to learn. Yeah.
All right, if you want to find somebody in your area to pass that to you, and then we'll take your question.
Hello.
Hello.
John or Sarah was actually her question. So.
Done. Sarah's cool too. Yeah.
So I would like to know if you could join the cast of any TV show on right now, which show would you join?
I would have to quit Runaway, so no. Wow. I don't watch TV. I'm a gamer. So if you ask me which game I would like. Okay, which game would you like to do? Okay. I would like to do anything that Naughty Dog does. And I would like to work with Troy Baker. I would like to act with that dude. So I would love to come in on Last of Us. Oh my God. Because Naughty Dog treats it like a high budget film.
Oh, yeah.
And like Troy and I are friends. And he was telling me, if they change one line in a scene, they call the whole cast back and they do motion capture on everyone's reactions and they play the scene again so that it's all organic and they take it really seriously. It's an actor's medium there. And it's so exciting. Yeah, I would love to do anything that Naughty Dog does, yeah. I missed out on Uncharted, but, you know.
All right, if you can find somebody in your area, that way, whatever. And then who's got it over here? You have it right there, yeah.
Hi, I really absolutely love your acting, but my biggest thing was the audiobooks you did for Jim Butcher. I had my book signed last year, but I wanted to know how the audio differs from acting, and if you have any up-and-coming audiobooks coming out.
Last question first. Yes, I just did, it's called Briefcases. It's more Dresden. It is a compilation of short stories, and apparently Jim is reading one of them, and I'm offended.
Well, you're the reason that Harry Dresden is the way he is. I just absolutely love how you make him in the books.
Thank you. Let's see. Doing an audiobook, I always talk about stage because that's where I learned all my stuff. So, on stage, your face is this big to the audience, right? And your eyes are this big to the audience. And so, on stage, it's not so much what your facial, what's happening with your eyes. It's really how you hang words in the air. That's the art of stage. In the right rhythm, in the right tone, it's hanging words up in the air for the audience to listen to. And so doing an audiobook is exactly that. Your face is opposed to being minuscule, it's just invisible. It's the only difference. And so I love doing audiobooks because I get to pull out all the tools that I had to dump when I came to Hollywood and dust them off and start using them again. And so it's fabulous. On the other hand, it's the most tiring job I've ever done in my life. And I used to have hellacious jobs when I was poor and I was like waiting tables or washing dishes or digging dishes. Audiobooks is like this microphone is like, it's a soul sucker. Like when you do stage, you have the other actors and the audience feeding you energy, and it's the energy's popping back and forth like a ping pong ball, and everyone kind of lifts each other. When you do a film, the actors are doing the ping pong and lifting each other, and you kind of feel almost more energized at the end of a long day than the beginning. But when you do a book on tape, it's just you and this mic, and nobody's feeding you at all, and it just sucks. So on the one hand, I have a blast. On the other hand, I go home and I just can't speak to anyone. Yeah, you're welcome.
Okay, if you could pass that microphone on to somebody over there. We should get the microphone into that row too. Who's got it over here? You have it over there, great. What's your question?
So obviously we love watching Spike. There's lots of Buffy fans in the audience, and I was just wondering, my favorite scene to watch is from Angel when you're standing on the tower and you're doing the voiceover of him. I was watching it on DVD, so I had to stop it, rewind it, and watch it again because I was laughing so hard. And I'm wondering, A, what is your favorite scene or episode of both series to watch, and which was your favorite one to film?
Can I just not answer those questions and answer it? And I'll tell you a really funny story about the filming.
Yeah.
Okay. There's so much about playing Spike that was kind of happy accidents and synchronicity and the way that my own personal life kind of lined up with where the character was going. In this case, I was jealous of David Boreanaz. So jealous of him. Because my girlfriend at the time got jealous of got jealous of me and Drusilla because Juliet and I became fast friends. We never became romantic at all, but we got really close. And my girlfriend at the time became very uncomfortable with this. And so she decided to enact revenge and tell me that she had a crush on David. And so early on, when you see Spike like kind of being uncomfortable about Angel, that's just not acting at all. So it works because film actually doesn't like acting. Film likes something real happening, and it wants to document a real event most of all. So that was a good thing. But this is the really humiliating thing that I did. So when I went on, I had to go over on his show. I had to play second fiddle to him on his own show. I could not stand the fact that he was so much taller than me. So in that one episode, I'm wearing lifts. I thought, well, I'm wearing these boots, and no one's gonna know if I put a couple. And I put 2 lifts in. And you'll see, Spike is a little taller in that than normal. And then when I got on the show for real, I had broken up with that woman, and I had realized that David had been nice to me from day one. He was, in many ways, the most supportive of all of the cast. They were all very nice, but David especially went out of his way because he started as a character that wasn't going to last. And then his character caught on, and he came to success. And he kept telling me, like, I see it in you too. Like, hold on, dude. Like, you're gonna come to great success here. And I was more comfortable, and so I'm not wearing lifts later on. But that one episode is humiliating.
That's great. Can you pass it over? And if you want to get into that row too, like we'll try to get it all the way back. So throw it over there for a second. Oh, where'd you put it? Went somewhere. You've got it. Now go ahead. And who's got it over here? Up there, yay!
Hey. I love the fact that you're a gamer. So am I. I'm an avid gamer. What is your worst game? Like, what do you suck at? What makes you rage quit?
So many. Anything with, I do not play multiplayer. I don't go online. I'm not that good. I need a stupid AI that I can watch for a while and say, oh, I know what you're going to do. I have to have that. Otherwise, I try multiplayer. I'm like, I went on Battlefront trying to survive for 5 seconds. 1,000.
No Fortnite on my Twitch channel, right?
What?
No Fortnite on my Twitch channel, then, right?
Yeah. Fortnite, no, can't even do it. Not even gonna try. It's just not fun at all. I'm just, oh, I got beat down so bad. But no, other than that, you know, I used to didn't really want to do complex RPGs. I didn't want to get lost in all the menus. Early on, I just wanted to shoot. And I didn't want to have to upgrade and all of that. But then I think it was Fallout 4. I got comfortable with menus then, you know. Half the game is in, you know, just yeah. So and now right now I'm just sucked into Witcher 3. I'll I tried it earlier on, and I was like, menus, click. And after Fallout, there was a little bit of a dry period, and I didn't have anything. I was like, oh, let's try Witcher again. And I realized, oh, it's actually a lot like Fallout. Like, they really ripped off Bethesda. They really did rip off Bethesda for that game. Even the inventory weighs something, and you can't walk as fast as it looks like it was made by Bethesda. They ripped it off really well. Because I think even Fallout is actually a Bethesda. They ripped themselves off from Skyrim.
Yeah.
It's the same game, except it's science fiction, and and you can shoot a gun, which is so much better. But The Witcher ripped. I say everybody ripped that off. It's a great game to do. But yeah, I'm in the middle of Witcher. I can't get out. Oh my god! I'm trying to 100% it. Like not 100% it, but I'm trying to do every side quest.
Nice.
Yeah.
My question then is, how much time do you spend playing games?
I don't have enough time.
Yeah.
It's gonna take a long time. I'm often doing things.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm always like I've recently, because every morning I'm like, I'm gonna get to play today, and then I don't, and I get like all like twitchy about that, and I'm giving up the expectation of just trying to take the day as it comes, and maybe I'll get. What was great is I thought I was coming here on Thursday. So I didn't fill up my schedule, and I'm like waiting for the car to pick me up at 9 o'clock, and I'm like about to call them, and I check my email again, and I'm not going till Friday. And I've already worked out, I've done everything I need to do, and it's 9 a.m. And I'm like, woo, Witcher!
All right, you have the camera here, okay?
Hi.
Hey.
I was wondering what sort of advice you'd have for an actor in the beginning of their career.
Oh, good question. I would say that every human being is beautiful enough and interesting enough to be stared at. Every single one of us. The irony about me and every other actor that I know is that we cover up the most interesting and beautiful sides of us by trying to be cool. And we give the audience what we think they want, or what we think that the version of ourselves that we want to be perceived as opposed to just allowing people to stare and see all the weird parts of you that you may not even want people to see. I like to say that like it's very hard, because when you have a lot of eyeballs on you, you have a very natural fight-flight reaction. Because the only time in nature that animals stare at each other is when they're about to eat each other. Or fight with each other. So we have predator eyes. We don't have bovine eyes out this way. Like when a cow stares at you, you're like, oh, okay. Two eyes going forward, and those are checking you out. There's a very old voice saying, fight or flee. And so allowing people to stare is a big gift. Like if you just stare at someone in life, you'll get in a fight. But an actor will say, it's okay, go ahead, notice me. And the best thing you can do in this kind of sacred moment when you're allowing people to stare at you is don't lie to them. Because the audience will, they'll let you get away with it, they'll clap at the end politely. But if you don't lie, and you let them see all the parts that they're almost comfortable with them seeing, and just let it out, you'll find that they'll respond with love. And so it's really like, acting teachers always say this, just be yourself, but that's why. Because everybody is really interesting, actually, if we let people see it. Yeah.
Thank you.
How about you throw it over that side? They're perfect, and then who has
also embrace poverty.
Yes. I also find that if you want to stare at somebody without getting a fight, do this. They can't fight you then.
Hi, I'm sitting next to Jack Harkness here, who is too afraid to ask you a question. But should she stand up?
Yeah. You have to come. Oh, you have the time to watch. Oh my God. Can you please come to my table? All you have to do is say your name in real life and say, I'm Captain Jack, and that's it.
So her question is, what was it like working with John Barrowman? And are John Barrowman and Jack Harkness the same person in real life? So the mom. Yeah.
Yeah, like he's a hero actually. He, you know, one of the great things that I love about Torchwood, like when I went to meet the creator of Torchwood, and he said that Torchwood was his Buffy, and I didn't quite understand what that meant until I was doing an interview with the BBC, and they go, "So, what do you think about the homophobic backlash against Torchwood?" And I'm a punk rocker, so I was like, "We have a backlash?" And the thing I realized is that, like, Buffy was a subversive show because it was subverting the lie that women can't protect themselves, can't fight back. And it was right in your face. Yeah. Unapologetic, like, boom, baby, deal with it. Torchwood was subverting the lie that LGBT gay people can't be heroes. Can't be heroes. And it is just as unapologetic and is just as in your face about that as Buffy was about its theme. And John is kind of like, and Captain Jack is like, "Babe, I'm here." And John's the same way, you know. And it's absolutely beautiful to have any human being proud of who they are and not trying to hide anything. And I'm right here. But also John is kind of a hero too. He'll help you if you need help. I remember we were filming, I think it was the second episode, I forget, the first or second episode that I did, and I was bleeding out through my costume, because I had just come from Smallville and the stunt went sideways, and see the thing about stunts is, you're not supposed to get hurt. Like any idiot can do a stunt and get hurt. So if they find out that you got hurt, you made a mistake, basically. And I made a mistake, and I got hurt. And I didn't tell the people on Smallville about it, and I didn't tell anybody on Torchwood about it, that I just blew a stunt back in Vancouver. So I was keeping this a secret, and the stitches opened up, and I was bleeding out through the costume. And I didn't know what to do. And I just went to John, and I was like, "Dude, I gotta tell someone, like, I'm bleeding out through the costume, like, I need help." And he's like, "Oh, dude, just go in my trailer, nobody will see you, I'll get a new costume in." And he just like, he pulled the strings on the set so that I got all fixed up. He got a doctor in there, he got all the stuff to do, nobody found out about it. I got back on the set and, you know, all, yeah.
Nice.
So he's, you know, he's a lot like Captain Jack Harkness, yeah.
On this side, oh, there we go, right there.
Hi, James. Thanks for coming to Victoria.
Thanks, man.
There's a lot of stories that come off the Buffy set about how David and Sarah would try and mess with each other in kissing scenes, about eating tuna and things like this. One, did you ever hear that? Is that true? And two, did you and Sarah have any dates like that? Did you have any back and forth like that, or was it just the romantic scenes were strictly professional?
Yeah, you know, I have all my fun after the word action. Like, on action, it's paradise. Basically, because everyone has to shut the hell up and I get to go to work. Because I'm used to the stage where the curtain goes up and no one interrupts you for 3 hours. You just get to do your thing. So I'm holding for action. I remember when, like, they have like the goof reel, the gag reel at the end of the show, and it's basically this little film of all the goofing around on the set, and it's shown to the company at the wrap party, and I think you can get these online. And after about 3 years, I'm not in any of the gag reels at all. And I go to Joss, I'm like, "What, you don't like me?" And he goes, "No, James, I like you a lot, but you want the reason that you're not in a gag reel?" I'm like, "Yeah, tell me." "Well, it's because you are boring." I'm like, "What?" He goes, "Yeah." He said, "For years now, every time we say cut, you do exactly the same thing every single time. You make sure you're on your mark, you look down, you march back to your chair, you pick up your script, and you study your lines." He said, however, yeah, because when we call action, it's like a panther escapes, you know, and don't change what you're doing, but you're not a gag reel sort of actor, you know. And I was like, okay, I'm comfortable with that. So no, I didn't really have a lot of that kind of stuff going on for the romance. There is one time I got Sarah though. I got it so good. Sarah was really cool, but she was the lead. And in Hollywood, you have to be deferential to the lead. It's just the culture. And as a punk rocker, as a subversive artist, it's hard for me to do. So one day, they had me up on this torture device, which was like a big hoop that you're strapped onto, then they lay you down horizontally, and then they pick you up about 17 foot up in the air over a cement floor. And they kept telling me, this is going to be a really hard day. This is going to hurt, it's going to torque your back, but we'll try to get it as quickly as possible. So it came time for the day, and they provided me with a strap across the middle. And so I had contact on the wrists and the ankles, but I had contact here. So I found that if I just kind of did a stomach crunch, I was comfortable as hell. It wasn't a problem at all. But I didn't tell anybody that because I wanted to be heroic. So they get me up there, 17 foot up there, and Sarah looks up to me and she goes, I don't know, James, I think I have to go to the bathroom now. Maybe you'll have to wait. And I said, oh, well, Sarah, you go, girl. This is your show. It's called Buffy. It is not called Spike. So if you need to go to the bathroom, you wait. You're the meal ticket. I'm just riding your coattails. You go. And she said, no, James, I'm just kidding. I'm like, no! Why don't you relax, honey? You have that huge trailer with the satellite dish and 150,000 channels. Why don't you go watch one of the shows you enjoy? We'll be here for you when you're ready. And we went back and forth, and she finally got angry enough at me being a jerk, basically, and she huffed off and left. And immediately, all of like her hairdresser, her wardrobe person that came back to set and tried to talk me off. Like, come down, James, come down. And I'm just like, no. Just waiting. And it took about 20 minutes. And she came back and she was like, I'm ready to go now. I was like, cool, Sarah. Cool, let's do it. In hindsight, I wasn't really fighting against Sarah. I was fighting against the Hollywood kind of thing about what that culture is, because Sarah, frankly, was a really nice person. I just had to do that. I was being a jerk, so, but that was fun.
Great, thank you. And over you over there. And then after you, can you throw it all the way over there?
I'll do my best.
Okay.
I heard an interview where read an article or something that when there was going to be the musical number, that you suddenly started showing up on set with your guitar and just kind of letting Josh know that maybe you might be interested in writing songs. So I was just wondering if that was true and how that was for you.
Yeah, it was, some of that's true. Basically, like once or twice a month, we would all go to Joss's house and read a Shakespeare play. And it was awesome. You know, I saw Joss play Hamlet, and it was one of the best Hamlets I've ever seen in my life. Because, coming back to what we were talking about actors trying to be cool rather than be real, actors who do Hamlet are trying to prove that they're the best actor in the world. The thing is, Hamlet's a 3-hour play about a guy who's trying to make up his mind. So being self-important is not probably what you want to do. And what Joss is a funny guy, and he played it like a stand-up comedian. And when a stand-up comedian is talking about this stuff, it's great. And there, as it turns out, there's a huge amount of jokes in Hamlet. Like Shakespeare was on this page too. He knew that you needed jokes in order for this to work. And so Joss played it without ego, just hitting the jokes. And it was so effective and heartbreaking and everything. I saw Tony Head do Richard III. Fabulous. So we would do Shakespeare, and then we would party afterwards, and it was great. And then one of these times I was like, man, it's a party, bring a guitar. So I brought my guitar and we started singing songs. And then the next time someone else brought a guitar, and the next time, and then finally Joss kind of said, actually I play piano a little bit. You know? He got on his piano and he started, you know, it was pretty good. And before you know it, it kind of became a musical party at the end of it. And apparently, because enough of the cast was singing, he got the idea maybe we can do a musical. When the musical was announced, I thought Joss had gone insane. I thought that like the pressure had gotten to him, or his ego had grown, and I didn't figure it out, and we didn't notice. But we all thought that he was flushing a perfectly good television show down the drain. And the problem was that he, instead of giving us the script for the musical, he gave us a cassette tape of him and his wife singing songs. They didn't sound that good, okay? Joss, as a singer, Joss is such a good writer, such a great So anyway, and you know, I was just never really a musical guy. I'm a punk rocker. Like now, like the musical, like Les Mis, oh my God, it's so good. You know, like there are musicals that I enjoy. They're doing a new West Side Story that if they do right, it's going to be amazing. You know. So anyway, we were not convinced, and we all tried to talk Joss out of it, and he was immovable. We whined, we complained, we cajoled, we did anything we could, couldn't move him, and finally, and this is why it's my favorite episode, is that after we figured out we couldn't get out of it, we decided to do our best, and suddenly all of these coaches showed up. These vocal coaches, these dance instructors showed up, and the cast was hiring them on their own dime. While filming the previous episode, they were rehearsing double time. Sarah hired 2 vocal coaches, right? And when it came time to film, we gave it everything we could, fully knowing that we were going to fail. Convinced that this show is about to be canceled, but if we're going to go down, we're going to go down swinging, man. Let's just go for it. And the thing is that the theme of Buffy, as far as I can tell, is don't give up. Like the world gets hard, it gets weird, it gets painful, but don't give up on yourself, don't give up on the world. And for that 1 week, we kind of like lived up to the theme of the thing. So I was proud of us, yeah.
Oh, there you go. It's going to go for a big toss. I want to see it. Oh, you can do it, sir. You can see, right? I know, it's intimidating. There we go. Yes! Great throw. You have it. There you go.
Hi, James.
Hello, where are you?
I'm over here.
Right over there.
Hello.
First of all, I want to say that Drusilla is my personal favorite kind of crazy. And then I've been in improv and I'm in LARP, so I know how personal playing a character can be.
Yep.
And so what I want to know about is how your experience was in Spike's transition where after, I'm sorry.
Okay.
He's taken in by these agents and gets a little torture thing put in the back of his head.
Yeah.
So that every time he has the intention to kill somebody, he experiences immense pain. And then he starts to fall in love with Buffy. So experiencing that kind of character transition from one huge murdered, happy guy to really sensitive, like can't kill a bunny. How was that?
My experience playing Spike was so close to Spike's experience in the story. Like, I remember when, instead of killing me off, they put me in a wheelchair in season 2. And I didn't really process that this is instead of being fired. Like, it's either the wheelchair or death. You know, but I hated that wheelchair. Like I enjoyed being the Spike that was out in the world and having fun and kicking butt. You know, and now I'm in a wheelchair. And I remember when there was a scene where Spike actually, you know, he's faking it. He gets up and he kicks the wheelchair. I kicked that thing as hard as I possibly could. thinking that if you break the wheelchair. Season 2, we didn't have that much money, so you just have to write me out of the wheelchair, And I bent the wheel like bad. I just bent it really bad. And I was like, gotcha. The next script comes out, he's back in the wheelchair, and they just kind of halfway bent it back. And so if you watch the rest of the season, I'm like, so I got punished for that one. What was your question? No, okay, so, yeah, the chip. I didn't like the chip. I felt like Spike was being forced to try to be good. Because the question is, as soon as you get Spike as a regular in the series, the real question is, how do you get him to stop trying to kill Buffy? Because he can't keep trying to kill her and fail. That becomes repetitive and ridiculous pretty quickly. So, and obviously you can't kill Buffy. So, the real question is, how do you get Spike to stop trying? And I thought it would be much better if Spike fell in love with Buffy, and she doesn't reciprocate, of course. That would be ridiculous. But he tries to win her over. He tries to be the kind of man that she would fall for, but it's impossible. So he would fail every time. And it could be to comedic effect or horrific effect, but you could play that one out over and over and over again, and that would be very interesting. And what I got instead was a chip that just took that decision away. And I always thought, that's not as good, man. And it was always, for me, it was about how do you do searing pain without messing up your hair. The problem is I have really curly hair, so we had to set it and then not mess it. It had to be like a helmet head. Otherwise it starts curling and I get an afro really fast, right? So I went back to Star Trek and I did a Captain Kirk every time. And if you watch it, this is what I'm doing, Captain Kirk. But I'm not messing up my hair.
That's great. That's great. Okay, we're coming to near the end. What? I think we're an hour, right? Is that right?
Is it an hour already?
We're almost at an hour, yeah. We're 55 minutes. So we have a question here, and maybe we might be able to get one more in if we're quick. We already have somebody with the conch over here.
Hi, I just want to say it's just amazing to see you live. Just on the small
Rather than undead.
In all these choreographed Buffy fight scenes, was there ever a time when Sarah accidentally clocked you?
Accidentally?
No, but she and I are both trained in martial arts. So there wasn't a lot of that happening. But the thing was that all of the professional stuntmen, and they were like triple black belts, so very good at their job, but they would always sell their punches to Sarah well away from her face, just to keep the job. But I was not fireable as much. So I loved coming in real close to her. Like I always wanted her to feel the wind. And I remember one night, she kind of went, okay, fine. And it came for her coverage, and all night she would just flick my nose. And then if you want to play that one, we can play that one all night long. So no, we never hurt each other, but yeah, we did that.
And we'll get one more. You have it over there?
Yes. Hello.
Hello.
My original question was the John Barrowman thing you answered like immediately.
Was that how you're going to embarrass me?
Maybe. But now that I know you're a gamer, which is awesome, if there was a film adaptation of a game, which one would you like want and want to like be in?
Witcher 3!
Oh no.
You know, probably Last of Us is probably the one that comes to mind most easy. Yeah. But that's kind of like, that's the easy answer, that's the obvious one. And they think they're making a film out of it right now. So, yeah, Last of Us. But also, Wolfenstein too. Because that, you know, that says more about my country right now than anything else. And this is what I love about fantasy and science fiction, is because we can say things more honestly than a cop show or a doctor show or a realistic drama. We can say the theme right out there. Like, neo-Nazis suck. And it's actually patriotic to go get them to stop doing their thing. You know, that's actually what a patriot does, you know? So I would love them to make a movie out of that one. And I probably would be a Nazi, yes, I'm a bad guy. I would be the Nazi that you love to hate, you know, I don't know. But I would love to help that project along, that would be awesome.
Oh, that's awesome, thanks.
All right, great. Well, I'm afraid we've run out of time. Thank you. Sorry if we didn't get to you.
Guys,